Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a prince who wanted to marry a princess. He wanted a true princess, someone with grace and kindness and noble spirit. So he traveled far across the world, over wide oceans and rocky mountains, through dark forests and endless deserts to find her. The prince met hundreds of rich and glamorous royal ladies. They wore golden crowns glittering with jewels and lived in huge castles and marble palaces. They dressed in fine silks and velvets and threw feasts and dances in his honor. But not one of them seemed to him to be a true princess. There was always something about them that was not as it should be. They were vain or they were greedy. Some were proud and others were arrogant. Nowhere could he find a lady who was pure and gentle, as a true princess should be. So he came all the way home again to his kingdom. The people rejoiced, for they loved their prince. But he was sad. He sat on his lonely throne, wondering if he would grow old before he found the lady he dreamed of. One evening, a terrible storm blew up, shaking the sky with thunder and lightning and stirring the forests with violent winds. The rain poured down, people shuttered their doors and windows, and small creatures shivered with cold and fear in their burrows. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, a knocking was heard at the city gate. The old king got up from his bedchamber, wrapped himself in his cloak, and followed by the prince and his queen, he made his way through the bitter wind and rain to open it. There was a young woman standing there, drenched by the rain and wind. The water ran down from her hair and her clothes, into the toes of her shoes, and out again at the heels. She looked like a beggar, but on her head gleamed a thin circlet of gold. "I am a princess," she said, "and I seek shelter. My kingdom is lost, and I have nowhere to go." The prince was moved by her plight in the cold, dark night and welcomed her in. "My name is Valiant, Prince Valiant, at your service," he said. The queen looked the bedraggled visitor up and down. "We'll soon find out if she's telling the truth," she thought. She ordered her servants to prepare the best guest bedroom with its huge four-poster bed. At the very bottom of this bed, the queen laid a tiny pea. On top of it, she put 20 mattresses as plump and springy as marshmallows. Then her maids brought 20 quilts stuffed with the softest swan's down. On top of these, they laid 20 silk pillows filled with gossamer and clouds. The princess climbed up the huge mountain of bedding and had to lie there all night. All through the long night, she tossed and turned. No matter how she lay, something hard was digging into her. By morning, her skin was sore and bruised, and she was exhausted from lack of sleep. Pale and tired, she came down to breakfast with the king, the queen, and the prince. They asked how she had slept. "I thank you for your hospitality," the poor princess said, "but I'm afraid I could not sleep a wink. I scarcely closed my eyes all night. I was lying on something terribly hard, and I'm now black and blue all over my body." Because of this, they knew that she was a real princess. Only a true lady of the noblest blood could be sensitive enough to feel a tiny pea through 20 quilts, 20 mattresses, and 20 pillows. The prince was overjoyed. He had fallen in love with her from the first minute he'd seen her. Even when her hair was wet with rain and her clothes damp with mud, and even without the pea, he had guessed that she was a real princess. And now he asks her to marry him and share his kingdom. "I will marry you, but first I must save my people," the princess said. She told them how her country had been taken over by an evil sorcerer who had oppressed her people and banished her from her own home. The king promised to send his army to rescue her people and throw the sorcerer out. When the queen went to retrieve the pea, she was amazed to find that it had turned into a glittering emerald. Oh, not only is she a true princess, but she has fairy blood running through her veins, the queen thought. The emerald pea was set into a crown for the royal wedding, where it shone like a star over the princess. Afterwards, it was put into the palace museum, where it was said to grant good luck to all that saw it. It may still be seen there, if no one has stolen it. This happened many centuries ago, in a land far away, but it is a true story.